36.
Hello Earthlings, welcome to the fourth, not the third, race of my F1 24 career playthrough. If you missed the last race, there was an error with the recording software in Australia, but you didn't miss much. Now we are here in Japan in Q1, starting our first run down the start-finish straight. DRS opened past Russell in the pit lane, heading into turn 1, grazing the curb on the inside, careful not to carry too much speed. Getting the car turned on the power, heading to the S's, which turned out to be my weak point through the weekend, as I show here. Taking too much curb and unsettling the car, and into the gravel I go. Second run of Q1, I am 15 seconds green, heading into 130R, heading towards the braking zone. I was expecting Norris to get out of the way, but he did not. I think I lost probably about a second. Hugging the right side for a short run, DRS did not open immediately, and I crossed the line for a 130.6, giving us P11 as my engineer tells us the same thing. Here on the in-lap, you see the greatest strategy you've ever seen to enter the pit lane.
And Norris, Sainz, Leclerc, Piastri and Alonso. Okay, so as for the cars around us, just ahead are Bottas, Magnussen and Hulkenberg. Okay, so the current fastest lap, 1:28.
Third and final run of Q1, perhaps a little early dumping the battery, about a half a tenth green heading into turn 1. Heading out of the final turn, hugging the right once again for an improvement up to a 129.893. I am told P13 for my engineer, but the display shows P14, so regardless, we were right by the drop zone. I was mistaken. I am doing 4 flying laps in Q1 here as we are playing chicken with Checo, and Bottas goes flying past. Hamilton and Verstappen join the fray. With Checo going, I thought I might as well go too. Going through the S's here, not improving and getting a snap of oversteer from the curb and spinning. Thankfully, no damage. We just have to hope nobody improves. Looking at the timing table now, and, well...
Easy top 3. If I'm not... 16th!
Not the best result, but out-qualifying Bottas, so it's okay. For strategy, I'm debating over a 1-stop or a 2-stop. I'm thinking the 2-stop will have generally better tires, as I have struggled for grip throughout the weekend in practice. Perfect parking before the lights. And away we go, immediately around the outside of Gasly, barely squeaking by there. He gets a terrible start up by Albon, and Ocon maybe into turn 1, heading a little wide there. I probably gained at least 12 seconds with that move and deservingly got a warning.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine.
I get a notice for my engine being worn. I appreciate my team telling me that mid-race when I can do jack shit about it. Through the S's, trying to keep right behind Ocon, getting right on his diffuser, thinking about making the move into this quick right-hander, but over-braking. Not anticipating how much Ocon slowed down, so I had to dive up the inside to avoid hitting him, and I ended up getting the place, just under a second to the car ahead. This hairpin is always a choke point on the opening lap, and I have to avoid once again, this time Tsunoda. Heading towards the spoon curves, I consider a move but don't really take it. Second spoon is very tricky, getting on the power early, but not too early, but early enough to get a good run through 130R to the chicane at the end of the lap. Speaking of, into the chicane, diving up the inside of Tsunoda, giving space through the exit, now up to P11 at the end of the lap.
1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Into lap 3 now. I'm not going to defend from Sonoda.
Okay, focus. We need to stay on form.
Exiting the S's, I go a little wide and end up in the grass. Very luckily, I don't spin. Dropping down temporarily to P14, but getting up to P13. Heading to 130R as Stroll ahead has an issue and naturally starts to pull into the middle of the track as people are going by. He deserves at least 20 more years minimum in the sport for such raw talent. Lap 4 I go defensive, but not much I can do here for Gasly as he drives past me pretty easily. I try and tuck behind as soon as possible to get as much suck as I can, staying firmly behind Gasly out of turn 2. Lap ahead now, grazing just a little too much curb but keeping it pointing forwards as Albon will get alongside. Now trying to judge how much space to give him through these S's was extraordinarily difficult, but just getting him as I'm leaving hell.
Okay, gap to the car ahead, 1.7 seconds.
Lap 6, Albon goes by on the straight. Again, not much I can do there. Into turn 1. On the exit, he gets a little lock on the front right, and I give him a little boop. Now in P14. Russell gets a run into 130R, but I Alonso him, and I keep the place. Next lap, the exact same thing. Dump a little battery, and he's more alongside this time, and I, for a third time in a row, Alonso his ass. However, going through the chicane, I turn in a bit too much and get a 3-second penalty. Now, I'm not sure why these penalties can't be done during the pit stops. F1 Manager does it. Whatever. Anyway, Russell immediately gets a run going into turn 1, but Soy Milk backs out. However, the next lap I go defensive, but he just drives past me. Lap 10 now, under pressure from Bottas going into 130R, but you know the drill. Alonso and cuck him to keep P15. Lap 11 again getting on the power just a bit too early and going wide, ceding the place to Bottas. Lap 13 carrying just a hair too much speed into the first turn, braking on the curb and entirely losing the rear of the car, obviously gaining handfuls of lap time, so very deserving of the track limits warning there. Coming out behind Sargent and the pair of Haas's, nearly losing the car again, not handling curbs well at all. I was spinning like a top in practice from what little time I got running in practice. Partially due to this corner actually going wide here, getting another track limits warning. In practice, I was a little too ambitious there on the throttle and spun straight into the wall, ending practice 2. I decided to pit on this lap. 2 laps later, fresh rubber, I make a fool of the entrance of 130R and I go wide by 6 inches, obviously deserving of my second 3-second penalty. Lap 17 heading towards Spoon, I wasn't keeping concentration and I went a little wide, doing a baller ass 360. I just wanted to make sure the people in those grandstands got their money's worth, you know? That's it. Next lap, going through the S's, getting on the curb again, just a bit too much, but managing to keep it off the wall. Like, that'll make this race any worse. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, why does this doofus keep going on the curb if he keeps spinning? I'll tell you why. Because I wanna. Heading to the hairpin, again taking too much curb, high centering the car, and spinning it like a tiny little top. Lap 19, I am again daydreaming and don't turn enough, and I go wide. No 360 this time, just 360 Gs of damage as the front ring is completely destroyed. VSC deployed and do hopefully what is my last stop. Trying to make the mediums last the remaining laps, maybe I can get not last. Actually posting a purple third sector. Lap 21 on the curb, unsettle the car, spin and hit the wall. Huge surprise, everybody. I'm not sure why, but I just didn't hit the brakes and I rolled my ass right back onto the track and I got T-boned by Russell and
Safety car, no overtaking, reduce your pace. Keep your delta number positive as we form up.
Here, Bottas pulled up and I am now officially a lap down to my teammate. Now there were around 30 laps left, but I had run out of tires that I could use. I'd probably done a cool $1 million worth of damage to front wings. There was no saving this race. And so I retire.
Victory today, not just for the driver, but also for the POW unit manufacturer, Crofty, and all that hard work that goes on behind the scenes.
Verstappen wins and our teammate also DNFs. I'm not sure how he did that, but he did. Bottas is unfairly ahead of me in the driver standings. My highest finish was a 13th, and I think his is a 14th, but for some reason, he's fucking higher than mine. Whatever. I hope y'all enjoyed. I didn't. Be on the lookout for a US Grand Prix vlog. Toodles, everybody.